And then opened my parents' apartment door, and I saw two officers. And I was like, oh, I think that's bad.
I want to know what's happening. I want to know, I'm the mom. She said, she's dead.
When I got there, a lot of police were still there and a lot of people that were traumatized because they heard something, they saw something. We learned pretty early that it was a 24-year-old female. You get to see on different cameras that he just follows her to the street. And you get to see that really the plan was there. He waited for her and then followed her to the home. And it's like you can live what happened almost live.
They were all sorry that they couldn't do anything, but there was nothing to do. It was too fast, too brutal.
Welcome to Crime Beat. I'm Anthony Robart. On October 19th, 2021, a Montreal woman living and working near McGill University was violently attacked and killed. With the horrific incident captured on video and numerous eyewitnesses, it was seemingly an open and shut case. But as her family would soon discover, justice doesn't always come easily. Here now is Dan Spector with "A Part of Me Died."
Romane Bonnier was drawn to the arts from a very young age.
Broadway star, nothing less. She wanted to land stuff here in Montreal for her CV and then go off to New York.
She decided to pursue singing and acting as a career with the enthusiastic support of her family.
She was at few days of her first professional paid gig, and we were so proud. That was a Shakespeare. I was so proud because she worked so hard.
It was 2021. Romane was 24 years old.
She was very driven in her career and her goals.
No. We're supposed to check up on Mom in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she worked really hard.
No, it's not. Don't
Along with her new acting gig, she was still helping out at the family business, a lighting store near the heart of downtown Montreal, just a few blocks from McGill University.
She worked the front desk.
Customer service, and she took a lot of order by phone.
And that's where she was on that chilly October afternoon in 2021.
She finished at 4:30 and I finished at 5. So we were at the door and I kissed her on the forehead. She was always tilt her head like that so I can kiss her there. And I said, I'm gonna miss you tomorrow. And that's the last words I told her.
Well, tomorrow became eternity.
Yeah.
In-person learning had just recently resumed following a year-long pause during the COVID-19 pandemic, so the neighborhood was bustling with students returning home from class. Romane was living in the same apartment building as her parents, renting one of the units below them. Shortly after the 24-year-old left work, her mother Jasmine closed up the shop and headed home, just a few minutes' walk away in the Milton Park area, better known as the McGill Ghetto.
Jasmine, she was like coming from here to the home, and she said there's a lot of cars, police car on the Hamer.
At first, it never occurred to them that there was a connection.
And we didn't know that it was like our daughter.
As they're discussing the commotion outside, they get a call from the hospital.
The emergency doctor, she called me and she asked me, what's your relation with Romane Bonnier? I'm the mom, so she said, you have to come to the hospital right now, to the emergency. So I put my phone on speaker and I said, I'm with my husband. I want to know what's happening. I want to know, I'm the mom. She said, she's dead.
With their hearts racing, Romane's parents started to understand all the sirens and commotion outside had something to do with their daughter.
We had this instant reaction of getting our things and go to the hospital, but the entire neighborhood was like blocked by police cars.
We want to get to the hospital because I have only one thing in my mind. I have to see Romane, you know, we have to go there, we have to go there. We may, you know, we may hold her.
We called the Uber, and the Uber was not able to even come near the building. And instantly we figure out was probably the scene of what happened to Romane. And so we went to the first officer near the gate. They were that kind of like everything was blocked, and he said, "We're the parents," and he just went like white.
It was like at 100 feet from our door. Everything happened so near home.
I was probably busy covering something else or finishing my day, but then the call came. A police source called me and said to me that the female was stabbed. She was in critical condition. She would probably die. I quickly went to the place where it happened, and it was kind of chaotic still at the time that I got there. It happened in a neighborhood where there's a lot of students, a lot of people at witness what had happened. A lot of people were shaken.
The scream was really violent and constant.
It makes you scared for your safety. This is a neighborhood full of students.
When I got there, a lot of police were still there, a lot of people were still there, and a lot of people that were traumatized because they heard something, they saw something. We learned pretty early that it was a 24-year-old female, and we were like everybody around was her age. But we didn't know at the time all the details of what had happened. We felt that the people were shaken. We felt that the people were touched directly because it was a young lady. It happens right where they walk every day. And that's what I think that was the element that shocked a lot of people. Some people explained to us that they heard something from the window. Some others were really, really close when that happened.
I saw him come from behind on the other side of the street and jump her, and I didn't realize that he had a knife at first. I thought he might have just been punching her, but then I realized there was a knife and I saw blood.
We were kept away, obviously, a bit far from the scene, but we could see as we could get closer, still the blood.
Romane's sister Marie-Lou gets a call from her parents and quickly senses something is wrong.
My dad called me and just told me, "Hey, I want to tell you something, you need to come home." I remember pulling on Sherbrooke and seeing the street lit up with police cars. Call it intuition, but for some reason I was like, it has to be something about my sister. And I called her. I called her to try to get a response. Obviously, didn't.
Marie-Lou navigates around the emergency vehicles and police tape. She arrives at Guy and Jasmine's apartment.
And then opened my parents' apartment door, and I saw two officers. And I was like, oh, I think that's bad.
He said, okay, I'm gonna bring you to the command center. You're gonna meet all the team, and after that, someone will escort you to the emergency, but we never went. We wouldn't be able to see her anyway.
Yeah, and it was not something very nice to see either.
My mom just said she was attacked. I still think about the cry. I was kind of wailing. And I talked about it with my brother at some point, and he told me this was the single saddest sound I've ever heard. I kept just thinking of what had happened, like the act, her literally dying.
The victim was immediately transported to the hospital in critical condition. We sadly had the confirmation that she deceased at the hospital.
She was stabbed several times in the upper body. Her alleged assailant was arrested on the scene.
He just went there, stabbed her, and stayed there in front of a lot of people in broad daylight, and he never tried to escape. He stayed there and got arrested.
According to this other witness, the man who committed the crime didn't try to escape.
The attacker stayed there until the police arrived. They didn't run after him. He was just there, and they took him into the police car right here.
La voiture de police juste ici.
They said, we arrest someone, and I was like, what? They arrest someone? I couldn't think of someone who wants to do harm to Romane. She had a too good heart. She was too kind.
Instantly I asked, is his name François? It went out of my mouth without thinking.
Welcome back. The family of Romane Bonnier came home to find their Montreal neighborhood swarming with police cars and a cordoned-off crime scene. They would soon discover the young victim was their very own daughter. We now return to Dan Spector with A Part of Me Died.
As the night advanced, we learned more and more details about it. The first infos that came in was that it may be related to a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend.
Investigators are on the scene to determine the link between the two. Possibly two people who know each other.
First thing that came to my mind was, my God, not another one. Because around that time, I remember covering in 2021 a lot of femicide. We didn't know all the details at the time, but since I covered the crime beat, there has been a lot, and that was the element that crossed my mind. Another one.
How quickly did you find out who she was?
Quickly we could put a face on the victim because there was a lot of YouTube video, and in the video she was singing, she was all smiling, and that's the image that we saw of Romane quickly.
Here you come again.
Romane Bonnier will be remembered by many for her shining voice. Her friends who called her Romy say her musical talent is among the many things they will miss about their friend.
She was like the definition of unique and an individual. You know, she like marched to the beat of her own drum. She didn't listen to anyone's opinion of her, you know, like she knew who she was.
With the tearful testimonies of Romane Bonnier's friends beginning to come out, she quickly became a household name.
I think every time we get to see the face, it all gets more concrete. I think people relate more. She was breathing happiness on those videos.
That all I really know is here you come again.
And now she wasn't even breathing anymore. That was shocking.
A memorial began to grow at the scene of the crime. Amid the grief, questions about the suspect began to grow louder.
It was more the next day that we started working to try to understand a bit more who was that guy, why did he attack her so violently in the street.
The motive of this aggression is still under investigation, but what we can confirm is that the victim and the suspect knew each other.
At the beginning, it wasn't that clear. Was he her boyfriend? Was he her roommate?
In the summer of 2021, Romane had been living in an apartment in the same building as her parents. The 24-year-old was looking for a roommate, so she posted an ad online. A 36-year-old man named François Pelletier responded, and he moved in with an understanding that he would be moving out that September.
Well, at first we were not very okay with deciding.
Comfortable.
No,
yeah,
but you know.
She's an adult. She was like 24.
The family felt a bit uneasy with a man more than 10 years older than Romane moving into her apartment, but they respected her choice.
Personally, I wouldn't have invited a man whom I don't know into my home. So I was surprised, I think, at how she trusted this man or this platform.
And yeah, he's a bit older too. Right?
Yeah, but you know, at first it was just a roommate, so. In 2021, we went through a little lull in our relationship where we had to find ourselves a little bit more. We just drifted apart a little bit, but the love was always there.
I was working with her every day, so how is it going with your roommate. And she never mentioned him in other terms than roommate.
I was walking the dog and I saw Romane in the park at the McGill University on the campus, and she was like, they were like holding hands. That afternoon, she introduced me to François Pelletier. She said, "This is my roommate, François." I said, "Hi." He said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm his father." Ah, all right. So he was like suspicious of who I was supposed to be other than her father. So I think...
You got a bad vibe.
A bad vibe, yeah.
On the afternoon of October 19th, 2021, the day that Romane Bonnier was murdered, François Pelletier is seen hopping onto a city bus. He goes and sits at the back and rides toward downtown Montreal. Around the same time, Romane Bonnier is finishing up her shift at her family's business. Footage from different surveillance cameras edited together by police shows Pelletier's movements. Pelletier gets off the bus and lurks near Romane's workplace. Here he's seen crossing the street and walking out of the frame. He's pacing back and forth, waiting.
You get to see François Pelletier, who just showed up to her work, wait for a long time.
Romane Bonnier says goodbye to her mother Jasmine and leaves the shop for the short walk back to her apartment.
You get to see on different cameras that he just follows her to the street. And you get to see that really the plan was there. He waited for her and then followed her to the home. And it's like you can live what happened almost live.
She walks up the hill toward Sherbrooke Street. Pelletier can be seen picking up his pace to catch up with her. He appears to be holding flowers in his left hand. Romane crosses Sherbrooke Street and enters the Milton Park area near McGill University. Pelletier jaywalks across the street at the top of the frame, jogging through traffic. He's now just steps behind her. Romane continues her brisk walk toward home, now in the area packed with students. Pelletier, flowers in hand, increases his pace to a run. Romane doesn't see it coming.
Welcome back. When 24-year-old Romane Bonnier chose a new roommate for a short-term sublet, her family questioned her choice. An older man named François Pelletier. Within months, the aspiring singer was dead, leaving her family to confront a killer who had gone to disturbing lengths to hunt her down that fateful day. Here again is Dan Spector with "A Part of Me Died."
I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you.
She was very protective. She was always the bubbly one and the life of the party. We liked it when people couldn't tell us apart. It's kind of because you're twins, you're kind of supposed to fool people. She had a mole over her lip, so that was the defining trait for most people. But you know, when we were both in our ballet attire with a bun and like the same costume, it would be hard to tell us apart.
Romane and Marie-Lou, I mean, obviously, as identical twins, there's a special bond, right?
There's a special bond. It was a very nice period for the family.
When you found that out that you were going to have twins, I guess it's always a shock.
It was a good shock. It was a shock, but I already had 2 boys. It went well. It went very well.
Well, I remember when we got the news, I had to sit down. But it was marvelous.
Building me a home.
She loved to sing.
Thinking I'd be strong there.
As I do too. I think we got that part from early on childhood. We used to both sing in the bath together, Disney songs. She would do covers. She even did a few original songs.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I I think she started that during the pandemic. The YouTube videos, she was training by herself, she was doing ballet in her apartment. At some point she even had a trampoline in her apartment, which we made fun of all the time.
I worked with Romane and I said, how is your life? And she said, oh, okay, Dad told you. Told me what? And then she said, oh, well, François and I, we're together. Oh, so I said, okay, you're together, but she wasn't telling everything. We were not informed that they were lovers, and she never said my friend. It was always her roommate.
I met him once. We ate at their apartment. Seemed fine. At some point she called me to get some insight because she was wanting to step back from her relationship with him and he was not giving her the space. She never said she was worried about her safety or anything. She was just asking if it's normal, what should I do? And at that time I told her, listen, if he does love you like he says he does, he needs to give you space.
So he was moving out, and I must say that when he left, I was relieved. I met him when he moved out at the door of the building, and I wish him good luck.
So you didn't know that there was a sort of complicated situation afoot, or that he had been sending her these text messages? And
the complications became after he left.
With Romane saying that he was like insisting and texting her a lot.
She wrote to him, she went to his new place. Despite all that, he was harassing her. So at one point I told her, why don't you block his contact? And she said she didn't want to. She protected him because she told me that he told her that he could commit suicide.
In retrospect, I think she felt embarrassed or worried and didn't want to worry us. And even her best friends at the time didn't hear much about it.
About 10 days before the murder, he went here and I just opened the door and I said, well, Romane is not there. She has a rehearsal. So he said, can you please tell her to answer me? I said, well, maybe she needs a break, but I'll do the message. And that's it.
You said he had a weird vibe. Did you feel something similar, or did you just
Not the first time. The first time he was very polite, solid guy, you know, good handshake. But the last time at the door, he was like a bit trouble, but in pain. He was having a hard time with the situation, the relationship situation, I guess. She didn't tell everything because we learned a lot of things during the trial.
The suspect, François Pelletier, appeared in court Wednesday. He faces a single charge of first-degree murder. The 36-year-old will remain detained until his next court appearance. We knew a few elements. She was working, she was getting home. That was the lines that we knew, basically. But when we went to court in the trial, then we learned really all the events, like a play-by-play of what happened that day.
The trial of a man accused of murdering a woman in broad daylight in the McGill ghetto in 2021 heard from multiple witnesses. 24-year-old artist Romane Bonnier was stabbed to death. Our Dan Spector was at the Montreal courthouse and joins us from there now. Dan, the jury was shown surveillance video of the crime. How did the courtroom react?
Andrea, it was stunned and somber silence as the surveillance footage was played for the jury.
As bystanders scream in horror, Pelletier tells them to mind their own business. He apologizes repeatedly, sitting over her as horrified witnesses call 911. One man approaches and Pelletier brandishes a knife in his direction. Police are on the scene in moments as the sirens grow louder.
You heard all the screamings, you see the final moments. That was really, really hard to see. And you get to understand she had no chance. He had a plan, he wanted to kill her, And he said, I'm sorry. He was there to do that. And he never tried to escape. He stayed there and got arrested. That seems like that was the goal that he needed to accomplish at that time, kill Romane Bonnier.
Marie-Lou and her mother made the decision not to watch the video and still never have.
I knew it wouldn't help me. Like, I heard some stuff that I had wished that I hadn't heard, and so I was at a point in the trial where I knew it wouldn't serve me well.
I did not see it. I did not want to see it. I didn't want to hear her. I didn't want to see it. I stayed for all the witnesses who described what they saw. Each of them, we thanked them because they were all sorry that they couldn't do anything, but there was nothing to do.
Welcome back. François Pelletier is on trial for the murder of his former roommate, Romane Bonnier, who was killed in a daylight attack near Montreal's McGill University. But what unfolded in the courtroom would be a shock for the family all over again. Here again is Dan Spector with "A Part of Me Died."
The jury heard testimony from 6 people who witnessed the alleged crime in the McGill ghetto, which was described as dramatic, vivid, and extreme. Some came across the events as they were walking by. Others watched the drama unfold through their bedroom windows. Witnesses recounted hearing a woman unleash blood-curdling screams before seeing a man on top of her, stabbing her multiple times. They said he screamed things like, "This had to happen. I'm so sorry. I had to kill her. I didn't want to have to do this, but she has to die." One former McGill student said at one point she saw the man with flowers in one hand and a knife in the other. She and a friend ran toward the scene hoping to help. The man then brandished a knife in their direction, telling them to mind their own business as they laid eyes on the woman covered in blood. A growing crowd of people watched in horror, screaming for the violence to stop, others taking photos or videos before police arrived and arrested the suspect without a struggle.
According to court testimony, Pelletier stabbed Bonnier more than 24 times.
17 of those were in vital organs, so there was nothing anyone could do. And those witnesses are, for their life, like us, they
were traumatized.
Guy, you didn't watch the video?
I did. And I will tell you why. It put an end to my fantasy. It put an end to me imagining the scene. It was the time where I'm supposed to walk the dog, so I could have
seen her.
I could have seen the murder. And this is the kind of stuff that was my nightmare.
The first-degree murder trial permitted the family to finally learn the details of what happened, but getting there took a lot longer and was a lot harder than they ever expected.
You think that what you saw on TV is like the real thing, but the real thing is really worse.
I remember checking the process and waiting. We were waiting to know when it would begin, then more delays. 4 years before the trial, 4 years where all your life is like on standby.
And it was all due to the fact that he was representing himself, and then he was not representing himself, and then he decided to have a lawyer, and then he decided that he was representing himself.
For the family, when they hear that the accused is going to represent himself, they're scared. It becomes a circus.
It's a freak show, I'm sorry, and you're wondering, when is it going to stop?
He never denied, but he never quite explained it, neither, in his defense. It was more like a strange, erratic theories.
In court, François Pelletier admitted to killing Romane, but pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Prosecutors theorized that he planned her murder because he could not accept the idea of her being with other men.
It's not in all the cases that you have such strong evidence where it's not possible to deny it happened. All the images were there. So the main point of this trial was more a state of mind than the actions, because we could see.
Because Pelletier had no lawyer to guide and question him on the witness stand, he attempted to defend himself by delivering long monologues.
The guy would just go on and on towards so many directions that were often pointing to nowhere.
It's a shock. He has been allowed to question himself, and it lasts 5 days and a half.
In the sky you'll get by if you smile through your fear and
She was supposed to be a witch, and he was killing the witch. He was not killing Romane.
She had a double personality, and the second personality was taking over the good one.
He's a soldier of God. There's a few phrases that have struck with me.
It was a 6-day monologue. And sometimes the judge would tell him to stick to the point, but then it would start all over again.
Pelletier spoke about becoming obsessed with her soon after the pair became roommates. The Crown presented a vast collection of text messages and letters Pelletier had written to Romane.
He was jealous, he was possessive, and so that we learned at the trial, that we didn't know.
That was kind of shocking to hear during the trial. She told me that he was texting her a lot, but I didn't know that much.
Marie-Lou had discovered handwritten letters and turned them over to police.
Yeah, I found them in her drawer at some point, and they were like pages and pages. He would say like, I love you, we need to work on this, and like, I can't wait to have a life with you, and like, we can prevail. But very, very insisting language.
I remember speaking to one of Romane's friends that day, and she would describe to me the relationship Romane had with François Pelletier, that she wasn't happy anymore. She described him as a monster.
Pelletier described his murder plot as Operation Wrath of Heaven. He told the jury that Romane had to die. There was no other solution. He said in court that he had to do it to protect her, and that by stabbing her to death, he had prevented the apocalypse.
At the end of the day, it was like, my goodness, this is impossible. This is like a sitcom, and saying, I'm still in love with her. I mean, this is a nonsense.
The relationship lasted 4 months. And at the end of it, you decided she didn't deserve to live. So that really didn't work well with me. And hearing him say he still loves her and she's a queen, and it's like, you don't get to say that. He was trying to make it as if my sister had something to do about it. And I'm still not sure if he was playing a mentally ill person, or he really believed that she had bewitched him.
One of the expert witnesses called by the Crown was forensic psychiatrist Dr. Gilles Chamberlain. He said in his eyes, a verdict of non-criminally responsible due to mental health reasons was not a possibility, that Pelletier was in touch with reality at the time of the murder, just overwhelmed by pain and rage.
And he said that he knew what he was doing, that he just wouldn't accept that the relationship was over.
I was relieved. I was like, oh, thank God somebody, saw that he's not crazy, and he's just a very manipulative, narcissist person.
Pelletier had been diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder in childhood and had been hospitalized at age 18 after having suicidal thoughts following another breakup.
That led him to think in a compulsive way that she was like the woman of his life, and from there it went south.
More and more I was realizing that how can Romane get rid of this man, because a judge and
the prosecutor
and five lawyers cannot control him. How could she ever be able to say to that man, no, it's no, it's finished.
I looked at the skies, running my hands over my eyes, and I fell out of bed.
Welcome back. As Romane Bonnier's family grieved, her twin sister also had to face learning to live without her other half. Amidst their heartbreak, the family clung to hope that Romane's murder would not be in vain by exposing a much darker systemic crisis. Here now is Dan Spector with the conclusion of A Part of Me Died.
Nearly 4 years after the events, Romane Bonnier's parents can finally breathe a sigh of relief. François Pelletier, 39 years old, was found guilty this morning for the murder of their daughter in October 2021. He automatically gets a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
Did you feel a sense of justice?
Yes, of course, but...
Yes and no. I mean, I was still in the shockwave of discovering our judicial system.
Romane was murdered. There are 30 witnesses. He was there on the crime scene. He was arrested there. It's simple in a way. It shouldn't be almost 2 months in the courtroom, you know.
The system gives the accused a lot of privileges.
Bonnier points out how in France, people are not permitted to represent themselves in court when dealing with a serious criminal accusation.
Why? Because you're not a lawyer and it's very hard to manage the 2,700 pages of the criminal code.
You can't realistically represent yourself, in my opinion, on such serious charges. I mean, it's foolish and ill-advised.
Criminal lawyer Eric Sutton says though he doesn't think it's a good idea for an accused to defend themselves against serious charges, it remains their right.
Ultimately, the most important feature of a trial is to ensure that the accused has a fair hearing and that the verdict is defensible because he or she has had a fair hearing. It could be therapeutic for some victims, it could be traumatic for other victims, but that's not the paramount purpose of a trial. It's to determine the guilt or innocence of an accused. The person may be so narcissistic that they believe that they are quite capable or they just want to grandstand.
I had some communication with the Minister of Justice, Sean Fraser. It appears that the minister is open to modify the law or change the law or at least better frame these situations of people representing themselves.
I understand the criticism, but it's probably the best we can do because the system generally works.
I don't have any animosity against François Pelletier. I mean, he's going to finish his life in prison. I mean, he's just someone that our society didn't detect at the beginning to taking care of.
Even in those first few days following Romane's death, as her family dealt with their unspeakable grief, they got a big boost from their community.
The march began outside of Face School, where Romane Bonnier was a former student. Friends, family, and teachers thought it would be a good place to remember the 24-year-old budding singer.
Romane was a performer artist, and it was a way for us and the family to give her a show, her last show.
This whole day, I think I didn't cry once because I was so happy that everyone came for her.
We were lucky and we were fortunate to be able to fill this void with love we received from all those people we don't know. I want to thank them, everyone.
I was amazed. In as little as 23 years, or 24, she had touched so many lives.
Her death is considered Quebec's 17th femicide this year. Those who attended Saturday's gathering not only wanted to remember Romy, but also wanted to bring attention to the violence she and many other women have faced.
If we haven't been in a violent situation, we all know someone who's been in a violent situation. I think it's time that we get together, talk about it, and make change.
There's a huge question to ask ourselves as a society, what's happening, what's going around.
I didn't think feminicide was for a family like us, but I was wrong. Feminicide can touch anyone and everyone.
How can we prevent this? How is it happening again? How is it going to stop? They had to get out in the streets and say, it's enough. It's really hard for those women to quit and to leave, and especially because they know that around separation or imminent separation is the moment where it's the most dangerous for them. There are red flags here and there. I think we have to talk more about coercive control because those signs are really important. They're present in almost all the cases of femicide. They're before the femicide happens.
Guy Bonnier has become an advocate for victims of femicides and for reform in the justice system to make the painful process easier for families. Romane's mother, Jasmine, says when walking home past the scene of the crime, she'll often touch this tree, a little hello to her daughter.
I'm writing a book right now. I'm writing about my experience with Romane. I feel her, I can sense her energy, so that helped me a lot, and I want some people who experience the same thing maybe helped.
I'm preparing a documentary on twinless twins, so twins that lost twins.
I'm still Jenny from the block.
Me and Romane, sometimes it would come up of like, who's gonna go first? And it would always end up in us bawling in each other's arms, because is it better to be left alone or to leave? We were born together. It's kind of a new concept almost for us, to not to live with the other. So I hope to help twins to make peace with this grief. If her death can change something in the lives of people, you know, it wouldn't have been completely in vain.
It's Belle, the princess from Beauty and the Beast, and it was the favorite princess. When we went to Japan, I brought the figurine with us, and I have few pictures in Japan with Belle in the middle of the street as Romane, and during trial I had her also.
How do you want her to be remembered? How do you remember Romane?
Romane the princess, the actress, the singer.
I've played all my cards, and that's what you've done too.
The wannabe Broadway star, and she had the talent to do so, and this is how I like to remember her.
Winner takes it all, the loser standing small beside the victory. That's her destiny.
I remember at the few days after her death, I had this dream where we were together and I was asking her question, and she described me what happened, and I asked her, did you suffer? And she said, oh, a little. It went very fast. I went out of my body in like less than a minute.
She wanted everyone to feel good. I think that was her sole purpose. I want people to know that she was kind-hearted and caring for more people than she could have known in her life. Such a generous light in this world. Just a wonderful soul.
I looked at the skies, running my hands over my eyes.
François Pelletier has begun the process of appealing the guilty verdict based on the argument that the trial judge erred in his instructions regarding the murder, and more specifically, how his mental state was likely to negate the specific intent to kill. Romane's family keeps her memory close and plans to continue advocating for justice reform and femicide awareness in her honor.
Winner takes it all, the loser has to fall.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Crime Beat. I'm Anthony Robart. Want more episodes of Crime Beat? Listen to the Crime Beat podcast now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. And for past episodes of Crime Beat, go to the Global TV app, visit globaltv.com, or check out our Crime Beat YouTube page.